Hello guys, welcome back to SWS Boxing. Delighted to get on Lewis Oakford. He's now 5-0 and it's fight week for him. Hang on, you can't see my eyes there, but yeah. It's fight week. He's boxing John Hedges for the vacant Southern Area cruiserweight title. At the Copper Box on the Matchroom card, and yes, big opportunity for him. But before, yeah, pleasure getting you on as always.
Cheers, Sam. Pleasure to be on again. So I've had a good few interviews now with you. So nice to get back in touch. Following this big fight coming up. Looking forward to it. Let's go.
Yeah, and before we get into your big fight on the weekend that's coming up,
hmm
you fought. I think I had you on maybe 3 or 4 days before you fought Phil Williams in the rematch in November. On that, he was on
Yes.
the 25th of November. Talk about the rematch you had with him. Of course, you didn't really. I think you said you had another opponent lined up, but they pulled out. So Phil, stepped in again.
Yeah. Yeah. That was pretty much the theme of it. You know, Phil, bless the guy. He's obviously steps in and saves the show. I'm sure he's done that many a times for other fighters as well. But he done it for me twice. I'm not actually meant to be fighting. I was never meant to fight Phil on both occasions. So it just shows obviously what he did do in order to propel me forward to move on to bigger things really. So so the first fight was a decent sort of back and forth sort of fight. I think I might have gave away a round. We had another fight lined up that wasn't him, but obviously my opponent had pulled out. And so he came back in the mix, and I thought to myself, well, if we're going to run it back, I'll make sure that I win every round this time and put on a better performance. Just to make sure I get up for it, really. Do you know what I mean? Because you want to make sure that you can get up for it and feel motivated to fight. Because the last thing you want to do is keep fighting the same person, of course. But so the second fight, the rematch, I won every round. It was pretty much a shutout. I feel it was a much better performance. I moved on to fighting my fifth fight. So so far so good. This obviously is a big step up going forward, Sam, I must say. But you got to take the opportunities when they come, don't you?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you have had that one fight so far this year. It was against Robbie Chapman. Again, it was at your call, 40-36, win that one. And
Yeah. Yeah, that was obviously that was another shutout fight. That was also a fight that wasn't supposed to be him. It's pretty much been the theme of my career. Fights that just sort of seem to collapse, fall apart. For what reason, I just don't really know. But it's just one of them things. But luckily, Steve Goodwin is a good manager. He always manages to find a way in order to make sure that he saves the show somehow. And so far, so good. You just got, like I say, you just got to keep pushing forward, getting on with it. Sometimes these things can be quite frustrating when fights seem to sort of fall apart. Especially when you want answers and you're not really getting them. But this is in the past now, and it's just now it's just about taking opportunities and moving forward and just trying to just capitalize on each big opportunity I get. And this is what I'm trying to do right now: break out of the small hall, God willing, and push on from there.
and that's what you have done, of course. You had your rematch with Devon Miller fall through. Explain to fans why that fight didn't happen as it was meant to happen.
Yeah. So Devon Miller fight was meant to happen. Unfortunately, I did suffer a hamstring injury. I wouldn't have been ready for that fight, unfortunately. And so obviously in that time, we did get an opportunity that came about. The Daniel Mendes that was meant to be fighting John Hedges, which seemed like it was all locked in. They even moved the dates for him to accommodate for his, I think he had a slight shoulder injury. So they had moved the dates, and unfortunately he had chose himself to pull out of that fight, and which left a door open for me to walk through, knowing full well that there's an opportunity on the other side of it. That is obviously something that can change my life. And it was obviously later on. So June 15th was initially the rematch between me and Devon Miller, and 6th of July gave me more time to heal, more time to recover, and then lock myself in, get some sparring, and get ready for that, because I was already ready in terms of fitness, in terms of sparring. I was already pretty much in camp.
Yeah.
The only thing I needed to do was make sure that I was injury free completely without walking into a title fight. when I'm not feeding I'm fit and 100%. I think it's obviously stupid to do. It's not very logical. So for me, it's just like I said, I've always wanted the big fights. I've never shied away from any fight that makes sense. And the Devon Miller fight, like I said, I told him as well, funny enough, because I think he wanted a rematch after I beat him on our debut. And I just sort of said, listen, we'll see each other again, and our paths will cross. I'm pretty sure of it. You've done really well since I beat you, and I'm pretty sure that at some point we'll see each other. There's no we're not going anywhere. You know what I mean? So it's all in good time at the end of the day. But I just believe that it's as a matter of fact, it probably helped him and it helped me. So really, he should be thanking me because he ended up on Boxer, fighting on the Crispin and Smith Riakpo world title fight, and obviously I'm on Matchroom. So it really kind of worked out as a blessing in disguise. And like I said, all good things will come in good timing.
Yeah, I mean, even though you both wanted to fight one another, it still worked out quite well. As you both landed on TV shows, big
Yeah,
TV fights. Of
yeah.
course, yeah, you've got that Southern Area cruiserweight title fight against John Hedges. Of course, John Hedges has boxed most of his career at light heavyweight, hasn't he? So he's stepping up for the first time.
Exactly. He's stepping up to he's filling out, obviously he's filling out his frame. He's obviously quite a young lad and he's started quite early. So just naturally filling out his 6'5" frame, which is completely understandable. So seems like he's grown up to be quite a natural cruiserweight himself. So, yeah, it's going to be a great fight. It's good, tricky southpaw. Definitely someone that he can do good things in the sport. But at the moment, I'm here to spoil the party and come and collect that Southern Area title. And when I do, it's all good. He's young enough and he'll come again. And I'm sure he'll probably be able to capture it at another stage.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, of course, would you say, yeah, because of course he's the matchroom fighter. How's the whole, thing with being, you had a press conference a few weeks ago now. I can't remember when it was, but you had a press
Yeah,
conference in Eddie Hearn's sort of back garden.
yeah. Yeah, so it was a new experience. As you can imagine, it's obviously me coming out of the small hall. I'm not really used to these sort of types of things, press conferences and interviews and these things here. But it was good. It was good to get the experience and soak it all up, soak up the occasion, and in a way try and get used to that because if I want to be here in this sport and achieve big things in this, I have. I want to get used to these things. So it was a good learning curve for me. I've got another media appearance. I think it's on is it tomorrow or Thursday? Press conference tomorrow at 4 o'clock. So that'll be interesting as well. So all of these things it's just a part of the game at the end of the day. When you get to the bigger stage, these are things you have to do, and it's just about being comfortable with it. And at the end of the day, what we're in this sport for is to get in there and perform the best we can, win the titles, and hopefully get a few quid as well.
I mean, that's always a bonus.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, camp's done. Would you say this has been the best camp of your career to date, as sort of two's rolled into one?
Yeah, pretty much. It's been like two camps rolled into one, and it's pretty much been non-stop really. And to be honest with you, I've never really stopped. I never really stop. I'm always going. I'm always training. I'm always doing something. I'm never really taking a rest day. If you say, what I do is I just kind of like kick it up a notch when camp starts in terms of sparring, in terms of all of these things. So yeah, it's probably been a very interesting camp, different because obviously finding southpaw sparring is it's been a bit tricky, but we managed to get good southpaw sparring. So shout out to Harvey Dykes, a very good southpaw that's been giving me some great work.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jamie Smith as well. He's been giving me good sparring as well. He even turned southpaw and helped me out a lot. And so everyone in my camp, Ed Chatty, my
Do you know
stablemate,
if Jamie's
also
making a
helping out as
comeback?
well. He is indeed. He is indeed. Yeah. So looking forward to that as well. Got a lot of love for Jamie. We've known each other for a long time. Came up together in the same sort of amateur scene, and yeah. So I wish him the best, and it's good to see him back.
Who knows? It could be as you're, similar Well, yeah, you're the same way. I mean, potentially down the line, who knows, if the title, if there's a title or money's right
Mm.
sort of thing, and it makes sense, then potentially
Yeah.
happen.
Who knows what the future holds at the end of the day? No real plans to fight each other at the end of the day. No one really wants to really fight someone that's like a friend in the sport. But at the end of the day, look, this sport it's a strange old sport, and you never know what actually does unfold. And who knows? You know what I mean, what the future can hold. And like I said, it will only be if it was to happen for something a very big prize, one that will be worth both of our whiles. And yeah, that's when I'll entertain anything like that or even begin to. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, you've got John Hedges. What do you know about John Hedges, and has he been on your radar, or has the fight just came up and you thought, yeah,
Yeah, John Hedges hasn't been on my radar, but at the end of the day, a cruiserweight is a cruiserweight, and if you are a cruiserweight, then you're on my radar anyway. Even if I wasn't actively, you know, looking, you know what I mean? Because it's just one of them things. You've got to just be prepared for any opportunity that can propose itself. And John Hedges is a cruiserweight southpaw that is fighting for the Southern Area title, which is a title that I've wanted from the start of my professional career, and he stands in the way of me getting it, and so therefore I can go through him to get it.
and talk about being you're boxing for the your first belt as a pro, and of course the Southern area as well. What does it mean to you fighting for the Southern area?
It means a lot. It's a great regional domestic title to win to really set you up going forward. I really do think that it's a great momentum belt. It kind of kick starts things for you, opens up doors, breaks down the doors for you to then go through and just go on to bigger and better things. Really, as you know, many of the greats have gone down the traditional route and got the Southern area, got the English, got the British, and the world has been their oyster from that point onward. And so I'm looking to really just follow in the same footsteps as those fighters, and it will just be great for me to go in, even the common EBU, all of these belts that that can come after you win that Southern area. It really just puts a stamp on the fact that you are a champion, and you have the capabilities to now kick it up a notch and win another belt. And the momentum starts from there, and you just push on. So, God willing, that will be the first of many, and we can push on and get some more big titles.
Yeah. I mean, some of the best fights I've seen, in person have been for the Southern area. They're always great fights. And I like when, sometimes you don't really see many area titles being contested on the TV shows, but I like it when, seeing an area title on the TV, because some of the best fights around are actually for the area.
Yeah, I've seen some amazing fights for the Southern area fight, definitely down at York Hall. Um, and I think because it's a title, it's a 10 rounder. It's usually a lot of people's first 10 rounder as well. So they've had a great camp for it, and they're really really up for it. And both minds are in there thinking. Both men are in there fighting their hearts out to get a bit of silverware, and it really brings about a great fight. So this could easily happen on Saturday between me and Hedges, and I'm all for it. I would love to be involved in a great historical fight to look back on in years to come and say, you know what a fight that was. You know what I mean? I want to be involved in those fights, definitely. So bring it on now. However it goes, I hope that it will be a fight to remember.
Yeah, and I'm sure it will. I mean, you've already been in two, very brutal fights. I mean, your debut couldn't get any, more entertaining to watch. I mean, with your debut, and then you beat McGuigan, who some people, well, yeah, would you say you was going in the underdog in both of those? I mean, in both of those fights, sort of thing.
Um, I think that in the debut, I was going in as the away fighter, which naturally it gives you that underdog feel. But on paper, if people was to do their research, they would probably have put me as the favourite because I beat him quite convincingly in the amateurs. So it's really just about what people know, and the less people know, the harder it is for them to make a judgment on who's the better fighter or who their favourite. But with Ross McGuigan coming off of Sky Sports fighting against Fidel Riley, he didn't really fight anyone before that. So really, it shouldn't have really given people the inkling to think he was the favourite. But again, it's really just the feel that it gives you on the night. He's already quite a familiar face at York Hall. I wasn't. I'd never fought at York Hall before him because I fought on an away show. So sometimes it's just that who's this guy feel, and they, because you don't know nothing about him,
And have you
you don't
got
think that
this?
he can get the job done.
And have you got the sort of feel as well? First time boxing on like Matchroom, a big platform, like live on the
Yeah,
zone, and not many, some
yeah,
boxing fans who only
exactly.
watch the Matchrooms, the sort of big shows sort of thing. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? They
exactly. Yeah,
might not
100%.
know
Yeah,
a lot about you, and they say, "Oh, John Hedges," because they know about him. But people who
yeah,
watch the small hall scene and watch the Matchroom shows as well realize that it's a very good fight for both of you, and it's 50-50 on paper.
yeah. Well, again, exactly. Just like you said, Sam, it's one of them things where people, because people don't know enough, they will probably write me off and say that, you know what, this is going to be an easy job for Hedges, a very one-sided fight. Whereas if people really understood from the roots, from the grassroots level, to now, then they would know that this is a way tougher fight than they thought. So yeah, again, it's just about just focusing on what I know I can do. Me, my coach, Matt Hurst, um, just focusing on what we can do and what we know we can do, and believing in that, and blocking out all of the noise and distractions of what people believe and what people think, not letting that affect anything, and just going there and just doing a job because that's ultimately all we have to do. You know what I mean? It's just zone out, focus on what the job is and the task at hand, and that's it. Complete that task, and that is it. Nothing else matters. And afterwards, all the doubters and all of the people that might have thought I was an underdog can then turn around and say, "Oh, fair play to you, mate. You was pretty good there. Didn't expect that one." But you got to do it. You got to do it to prove it for them to see. Show and prove. That's what I like to say.
Mm.
And it's just that's what's going to happen on Saturday.
And you're gonna upset, um, you're gonna pull the upset off. Well, in my opinion, it's not an upset, but you know what I mean. And
Yeah,
yeah, mate, you might
it's
upset
an
Eddie
upset in many
Hearn.
people's eyes. Yeah.
You might upset Eddie Hearn, but at the end, he might give you a fight deal. Who knows?
Yeah.
But
Hopefully, I don't upset him that much. Yeah. And I can upset him a bit, but enough to have a little convo with him afterwards, and then hopefully maybe we can move on and do some business. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see what the future holds. Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, full focus on John Hedges, and yeah, I mean, this. Do you know what time you'll be boxing?
Around about 8 o'clock, I would imagine around about 8ish. Obviously allowing the time for the England game, people to watch that.
Oh yeah.
So they've kind of planned it out and to make sure that people don't miss that game because we can't be missing the England game now, can we? We
Yeah,
won't be very very happy fans in the arena if they had to miss the England game. So
yeah.
it's good. It's good. It's good how it's all panned out. They can watch the England game there and have that little interval break, and then I think all the main show will start off at 7, and I should probably be fighting at about 8.
Yeah, so you're on the main card, and of course, how are you feeling that you're boxing on the zone for the first time? And would you say this is your sort of breakout fight to show the world what you're about?
Yeah, definitely it's a breakout fight. This is if this ain't a breakout fight, I don't know what one is because this is pretty much got all of the recipes to be a fight for me to show the world what I'm about. It's on a massive stage, and obviously it's for a title as well. So clearly it's going to be a coming out fight.
Yeah, and it's a great fight. I mean, there's loads of fights that could steal the show. I mean, your fight could steal the show. Then there's a British and Commonwealth fight and Johnny Fisher Babbitt. Can I ask your prediction for that fight, the Fisher Babbitt fight?
Wow, that's gonna be a great fight. First of all, I really do think that's gonna be that's gonna be fireworks. But I'm leaning towards Fisher. I think he's going to be able to get it done. He's younger, he's fresher. He's he's just a bit more explosive. I think he's got some skill about him. It's just that he just needs them fighters to bring that out of him. But yeah, I'll go with Fisher, and I actually go early as well.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I personally don't see it going past 6, but it again, they've both got good chins on them and they can take a bit of punishment. So, we
Yeah,
could see a bit of a war, but I can just see it going early doors. As soon as the first fighter connects big,
yeah,
it'll be
yeah.
hard to see them recover because they're both big,
They're big
dangerous
hitters. They're
punchers.
big punchers, big dangerous punchers. And they both hit with really bad intention, and they both want to get their opponent out of there. They don't want to stand. They don't want to get paid for overtime at all. But
It'll be
and they,
fun to
well, you
watch,
don't get.
to say the least.
It'll be fun to watch to say the least. But yeah, I'll go with Fisher, and I'll go between rounds 1 and 4.
Yeah, I'm thinking this sort of same. But if I had to stick around, I'd say round 3. But yeah,
Yeah.
for Fisher, yeah. Have you got a message to your fans that are coming out to support, and what can the fans sort of expect from you, Lewis?
I want to say thank you to all of my supporters that are coming out. I love you all. I appreciate every bit of the support coming up to the Copper Box to support me. And I'll promise not to let you down. I'm going to put in the best performance I can and make you all proud. And yeah, shout out to my sponsors as well, Gym Supplements. Shout out to Wild Herbs. Shout out to Trapaholic.
Hmm.
And shout out to Milford Constructions. I obviously without sponsors, this game is really, really hard to continue. And obviously, it's you guys that are obviously giving me that support to push on and keep myself focused in this game. And so, yeah, that's all I've got to say.
Do you want to shout your
Yeah,
manager
see
out
you on
before you
Saturday.
go? Do you want to thank your
Of course,
manager,
of course,
trainer?
I always do. I always do. Obviously, Steve Goodwin, my manager, for obviously even putting this over the line. Always shouting him out. And obviously Matt Hurst, my coach, that we work diligently together. Obviously, want to shout out John Patterson as well, my second coach. It's a great guy, and he's got loads of wisdom and helps and brings the atmosphere into the gym. But we've got a great team down there, and I just want to thank everyone that's been a part of this camp and just had any input in helping to improve me in any way, shape, or form. And you know who you all are if I've missed out any names,
Yeah.
and you know how much I appreciate you and respect you all.
And from me, Lewis, thank
Yeah,
you for your time as always, and go get that belt on Saturday and the new. Bye, mate.
and the new. Let's go.
Yes, mate.
Cheers, mate. Bye bye.
Bye.